Moser.
I don't know what you do.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Matthew Huntington, and I work as a freedom lobbyist for Gadsden Legal. I want to speak briefly in favor of the bill, and then I want to talk about a suggested amendment I had. Mr. Chairman, would you like me to speak about both and then take questions, or speak about the bill, take questions, speak about
Yes, speak about them both.
Sure. This was a big issue last year, and we've all heard pretty much all the points that come up today. And to keep it brief, I want to get right down to the meat of the matter, that a concern a lot of people have is and allowing citizens to carry without a permit, to carry without the background checks and the filter of going through the sheriff's office. That concern was brought up. A lot of people aren't sure how that would work, but I believe I've experienced it. I've carried for 7 years now. I've carried a sidearm legally without a permit. I do what's called open carry, and I've been contacted by law enforcement many times. It always goes civilly. They can run a background check, make sure your gun's not stolen. I know background checks are the correct nomenclature, but make sure you're not a prohibited possessor. And many other people open carry. And the people that were concerned about carrying without a permit, should this bill pass, today they can open carry also without a permit. And them open carrying problematically hasn't been an issue yet. So all we're talking about now is what's legal today is open carrying, the weapon showing, just putting a piece of cloth over it. So thus far, open carry has worked, and I don't see where just having a piece of cloth over it would be an issue. And a lot of people ask me why I just don't simply apply and get a concealed carry permit. I'm fully eligible for it. I just, it's a ethical issue to me. I see it as a right, and I'm just to choose not to get a permit to carry a gun because it's a right on par with freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and if they demanded that I get a permit to read a Bible, for example, I wouldn't like to do that either. Senator Jennings brought up Vermont, a very low crime state where you can conceal carry without a permit. More recently, Arizona and Alaska allowed permit-free carry, but they also maintain their permitting structure as this bill would allow. Because a lot of people still want to get concealed carry permits to carry in other states and have reciprocity and be able to travel and still get the permit. In Arizona, we've all heard about the tragedy that occurred there 2 weeks ago. It was not stopped by a citizen legally carrying, but it almost was. A gentleman who was legally carrying concealed. I don't know if he had a permit or not, but he was in one of the stores. He came out, and he actually got there at the time the shooter was being tackled and detained, and he actually was about to shoot the gentleman who tackled the guy and took his gun away from him, but like most legally armed citizens, exercised sound judgment and control, told him to drop the gun, and he did, and he realized that was not the bad guy, did not shoot him, and helped hold him down until police officers arrived. So if that tackling didn't happen, and the shooter loaded his second magazine and continued, that gentleman who was legally carrying would have been able to stop the threat at that point in time. The overall point is that when you make it easier for legally armed citizens to carry a gun, you make it harder for bad guys to commit violent crimes. That's all I want to say in support of the bill. I had an amendment. I think we are as close as we've ever been in the years that permit-free carry has come through the legislature to a perfect bill. The one issue I wanted to address, and I have a handout for the committee. The handout form, one copy for the record. And
I need 7 actually.
Senator Perkins.
Thank you.
What I wanted to address, Mr. Chairman, is the residency requirement. Page 2, line 16 of the bill reads that to carry without a permit, you must meet B subsection 1 through 6. And those are the first 6 of 10 requirements to get a concealed carry permit. I think a lot of those make great sense, and we want them. However, item 1 requires that you be a Wyoming resident for 6 months to be eligible to conceal carry without a permit. I would like to see that deleted, just change 1 to the 2 to require items 2 through 6. And the reason for that is, I believe that even non-residents should be able to conceal carry without a permit in Wyoming. That's the case in Vermont, Alaska, and Arizona. I happen to have a little bit of favoritism to Wyoming residents, but again, it's an issue of a right, and we have no different standard to right of free trial, what right of due process for residents or non-residents. And I double-checked this morning, and Arizona and Alaska allow residents and non-residents alike to conceal carry without a permit. And the pragmatic approach is that that might be hard for the law enforcement officer on the street to determine. Say, a Wyoming resident of 6 months might still have his identification from a previous state. Say he's moved here, his driver's license is still good for another 2 years, and he doesn't change it immediately. Well, he might have been in state for 7 months. To the officer, he's a Florida resident or a Kentucky resident. That could cause some problems, or vice versa. A person who's lived in Wyoming, has left the state, is no longer a resident, but hangs onto their Wyoming driver's license, could come back to the state, represent themselves incorrectly as a resident, and maybe get away with something. So I would definitely want to see this bill passed. I supported this amendment. If you senators think it's a good idea, Alaska and Arizona have passed this. They don't have the residency requirement. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I'll take any questions.
Okay, any questions at this point? Okay, other comments on the bill? Yes, ma'am.
I was even following the Wyoming Coalition Against Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault, and I just want to remind you, in opposition to this bill, that